Marsha, and I'm going to be showing you how to make pumpkin spice cookies. These cookies are absolutely delicious and they'll satisfy your pumpkin spice cookie craving, whether it's during the holidays or any time in the year. So let's go over the ingredients to get started. You're going to need flour, white sugar, pure pumpkin puree, salt, baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon, nutmeg, and ground cloves, 1 stick of butter, 1 egg, vanilla extract, and for an optional glaze to put on top of your cookies, you're going to want confectioners or powdered sugar, milk, vanilla extract, and melted butter. So first, I'm going to show you how to combine the dry ingredients. You're going to take your flour and mix it in with your salt, baking powder, baking soda. So just dump that right in there. And then you're going to take your cinnamon, cloves, and ground nutmeg and put it in here as well. And once you've combined those things, you're going to take a handy dandy whisk or any mixing object really. We could use chopsticks, forks, spoons. All you want to do is get it incorporated so that when you blend it together in your mixer or when you decide to blend everything together, it's more evenly spread out. So just going to give this a quick little whisk, and when you're done with it, it should look something like this. Nothing too fancy, but you can see that everything is well blended together, and that's exactly what you're going for. Now we're going to get started on our wet ingredients, and that's basically creaming together the butter, the sugar, anything that's kind of like wet and gooey and sticky. You're going to want to do this now. So what I already did was I unwrapped my stick of softened butter, and to make your butter soft, you just leave it out on your counter for a few hours, and then it should be totally fine. And to this, I'm going to add my white sugar. Now, you don't need to use a stand mixer like I am. You could totally do this by hand, but I'm not a girl with muscle. I don't have a lot of biceps on my arm, so I'm just going to offer the easy way out because that's the way to go for me today. Okay, so I'm going to, now that I have my white sugar and butter in the bowl, I'm going to attach the mixer onto this, and then I'm going to attach, okay, I'm having a little difficulty with this one too. Oh, okay. I'm going to attach this onto this, lift this thing up, and I'm just going to let it cream for a few minutes, and then when it's done, I will show you guys the final product. Now that your butter and sugar is creamed, it should look a little something like this. Not necessarily creamy, but just so that you can see that the butter and sugar are well incorporated. And now we're going to add in our pumpkin, egg, and vanilla extract. Okay, so we're just going to take a nice little spatula here to scrape in the pumpkin into the mixer. So just put it in. The recipe calls for a cup of pumpkin, but since I really like my cookies to have that nice, authentic pumpkin taste, I added a little more than a cup, like maybe a cup and a quarter. So 1 1/4 cups of pumpkin for me, but it's all to taste, like whatever you guys want. Next, I'm going to crack in my egg, and then drop in my vanilla extract. After this, I'm just gonna push everything back up again, and I'm gonna let it mix for a little bit, and once everything is mixed up again, I will show you guys what it should look like. Now when all of your pumpkin, butter, sugar, eggs, vanilla, everything is just creamed together, it should look kind of like what I just showed you. So I'm just going to pull this down, and now for the fun part, we're going to add in our dry ingredients. I know, we've been waiting for this moment this entire time, and it's finally here. So we're just going to add in the dry ingredients. There's 2 ways to do it. You could add it gradually, slowly, a little by little, so it doesn't get too overwhelming for your batter. Especially if you have like a small mixing bowl, you definitely want to do that because it's easier to work with. But since I have this heavy duty, amazing stand mixer to help me today, due to my lack of muscles, I'm just going to add in this entire bowl of flour and dry mixture and blend together, and when it's done blending, I'll show you guys what the final cookie batter should look like right before it hits the oven. Once the batter finished mixing, once all the ingredients were well incorporated, it came together really well and it looks like this. So this is our finished batter. As you can see, it's a lot more solid, a lot more easier to work with, which is great because this next part is my favorite part. We're going to finally get to transfer the batter onto the cookie sheet, and there's so many ways to do this. Today I'm just going to use a simple spoon because everyone has a spoon, I hope, at home, and if you don't have a spoon, it's fine. You can just use your hands. That's totally fine. But you can use a spoon to transfer it. If you have piping bags, you can pipe the cookie batter into like cute little shapes like flowers, rainbows, sunshines, whatever you guys want. You can put it on a cookie sheet. Or you could, you know, get a cookie scooper so you get nice uniform cookies, whatever you want. So we are going to take the spoon and do it the spoon method, which is very simple. All you do is get a spoonful of batter and just drop it onto the cookie sheet. Nothing too fancy. Okay. Sometimes you might need to use your fingers. It's a little sticky. But once you drop it onto the cookie sheet, it's important to kind of like press it down a little bit because that gives it a nice shape, and when it bakes, it allows it to bake evenly. I'm going to press it down, and that's one cookie. And now I'm just gonna leave it so that they're about 1.5 inches apart. So maybe 6 cookies per sheet. And I will get back to you before we put them in the oven. So I ended up being able to fit 8 cookies onto my cookie sheet. And now we're going to transfer these to the oven. The journey to the oven, how exciting. So I've been preheating this oven to 350. I forgot to mention that earlier. Oh, I'm such a bad chef person, teacher. But anyway,
teacher.
I'm gonna open up the oven. And I'm gonna slide in my beautiful cookies. And these are going to bake for 10 to 12 minutes. And at the end of that, I'm going to take it out and hopefully they'll be delicious, golden, crispy, and so good in my tummy. So I will see you guys and the cookies later. Now this part is totally optional, but since I have the craziest sweet tooth, I have to make this glaze for the cookies. So as mentioned in the ingredients previously, for the glaze you're going to need confectioners or powdered sugar, butter, milk, and vanilla. Now I'm just going to use this fork and I'm just gonna, you know, mix it up a little bit, get some air pockets in between those sugar molecules. Need some science in this chemistry experiment. We do go to Bronx Science after all. Alright, and then I'm just going to add in my melted butter. And I'm going to mix it up. Mix. You're not going to be able to mix it up too well yet because the butter to sugar ratio is just way too imbalanced. But then I'm going to take the vanilla extract and just dump that right in there and continue mixing. Now what you need to know about the milk, which is the next ingredient, is that although in the ingredient it calls for 3 tablespoons of milk, that's just a measurement. You're going to be adding in milk gradually until you reach the consistency that you want. So it might be more than 3 tablespoons, it might be less than 3 tablespoons, but it's always a number kind of near 3 tablespoons. Alright, so now we're going to add in the milk. Gonna do this little by little now. So first, gonna add a little bit. Mix.
You felt the coming wave, told me we'd all be brave. You said you wouldn't flinch, but in the years that passed,
when the cookies come out of the oven, they should look something like this. Golden crispy on the top, nice and fluffy looking, a little bit elevated, just the way we want them. So now back to this glaze that we made earlier. As you can see, it's a nice liquidy consistency. So I'm just going to take my fork and glaze it over the top of the cookie. So I'm going to move back and forth. You can do this, design it however you want. If you're an artist, you know, feel free to glaze like the Mona Lisa on one of these cookies. But I am not an artist at all. I can barely draw a proper circle. So this is the best I can do. But hey, it doesn't look that bad. Nothing too shabby. I feel like whatever you do, regardless how ugly or beautiful you glaze the cookie, it'll taste really good either way. So after you glaze it, just let it sit for a few minutes and it'll get hard. And actually I have some ready from earlier that I already glazed. As you can see, it's nice and shiny, it's hard, and when you, let's just take one, and when you open it up, this is what it looks like on the inside, and it is absolutely delicious, guys. I really hope you enjoy this recipe, and the next time you want a little bit of pumpkin spice in your kitchen, you're going to refer to this recipe and make these delicious, delicious cookies. See you next time, guys. Bye.